of the Human Rights, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, the Minority Rights Group International, and Freemuse, and of course, the City of Geneva, whom we have to thank this very nice place we are doing the whole artist contest. We are commemorating 2 anniversaries today. One is the 8th anniversary, like I already mentioned, of the IBelong campaign to end statelessness, which was launched in 2014 and is set to run for a decade, which means we only have 2 more years to go. The IBelong campaign aims to identify and protect stateless people, to resolve existing situations of statelessness, and to prevent emergence of new cases. It has also raised a lot of awareness on the discrimination leading to statelessness and human rights of stateless people. We have 2 more years, like I said, for the IBelong campaign. So there's a lot more to be done, and we hope you will all actively engage in doing so. With this award for the International Artist Contest for minorities who are dealing on statelessness, who submitted statelessness work, we want to galvanize and politicize and to look for more support to raise attention to the whole of the plight of stateless people around the world. In the international contest also, I did say we were marking 2 anniversaries. We are marking also the 30th anniversary of the 1992 Declaration on Rights of Persons belonging to national, ethnic, religious, and linguistic minorities. In the International Artist Contest, we invited artists to provide work on statelessness, the theme, and to submit at least a minimum of 5 pieces of artwork. 39 pieces were given from 23 different countries. So you can imagine the panel of judges, who were 5 people, how much fun we had doing that. For me, as a fellow artist, it was kind of torture trying to decide who the winners were. So in the judges panel, we had, like I said, 5 judges, including myself. We had Yulia Nina, who is Russian-born, US-based, a multidisciplinary artist with a Jewish background. We had Alina Mikolos, who is a Roma artist from Brazil and Argentina. She is also an OHCHR Senior Minority Fellow. Then we had the Special Rapporteur in the field of culture and rights from the United Nations as well, Alexandra Xanthaki. And then we had lastly, Khadim Ali, who is Pakistan-based artist, who lives in Australia and belongs to the Hazara ethnic minority. Then myself, like I said before, and I'm a Kenyan-born, Swiss-based artist who is also, coincidentally, a politician. The judges chose 3 award recipients from all the ones we got. That wasn't too difficult because we actually were in sync and agreed on who the main artists, who were supposed to be the recipients were. The problem was when we had the honorary mentions, because initially we were supposed to only mention 1 person, and now we have 4. That should tell you how much good art we received. We were able to assess the art due to its relevance, and we also checked how much weight the artist gave to the theme of statelessness, how bold, how daring they were to address the topic, and how much dedication they put in handling such a difficult theme, in highlighting such a difficult theme. Statelessness is often referred to as an invisible problem because stateless people they remain unseen and unheard. There are people who do not have a legal identity, and they're often told they do not exist. This art contest, it contributed to the efforts to make the invisible visible and to draw attention to the plight of some of the world's most vulnerable people. We definitely want to thank the City of Geneva again for hosting the event in such a lovely venue. And we also want to thank the OHCR, the Office of the High Commission for Human Rights, the UNHCR, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. And right now, I would love to invite the Mayor of Geneva, Marie-Bebe Chapuis, to say a few words of welcome. And I really hope I didn't butcher her name too badly. Thank you.
Madame la haut-commissaire assistante du Haut-Commissariat des Nations Unies pour les réfugiés en charge de la protection internationale, Madame la directrice du Haut-Commissariat des Nations Unies aux droits de l'homme, Monsieur le directeur de Freemuse, Madame la présidente du jury, Madame la lauréate, Messieurs les lauréats, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs. Au nom des autorités de la ville de Genève, je suis très heureuse de vous souhaiter la plus cordiale bienvenue au palais Anna et Jean-Gabriel Hénard. Et je tiens d'emblée à féliciter les trois lauréats pour la distinction qui leur est remise, ainsi que les personnes ayant reçu une mention honorable. Alors, vous l'avez dit, ce prix poursuit aujourd'hui plusieurs objectifs. Soutenir d'abord le travail des artistes issus des minorités, accroître la visibilité de leurs œuvres et enfin faire mieux connaître la question de la patrie. Et pour cela, je tiens vraiment à féliciter également le Haut-Commissariat des Nations Unies pour les réfugiés, le Haut-Commissariat des Nations Unies aux droits de l'homme et l'ONG Freemuse qui sont à l'origine de ce concours d'art international et qui, de cette manière, mettent en évidence la situation critique des apatrides et donnent plus d'audience à leur cause. Et il est vrai que ce sujet est rarement abordé dans l'espace public, même si c'est un phénomène dont on sait aujourd'hui qu'il touche des millions d'hommes et de femmes dans le monde et que ces personnes rencontrent de grandes difficultés pour bénéficier de droits fondamentaux et connaissent des obstacles tout au long de leur vie. La culture a donc un rôle important à jouer pour dénoncer cette situation inacceptable et les artistes n'hésitent d'ailleurs pas à se retrouver en première ligne quand il s'agit de défendre les droits humains. Et la ville de Genève, berceau du droit humanitaire, ville de la paix et de la solidarité, a toujours été extrêmement sensible à la cause des droits humains et aux problématiques rencontrées par les minorités. Pour les autorités, il est fondamental vraiment de pouvoir continuer à promouvoir, à défendre les droits des minorités, quelles qu'elles soient, parce que c'est la valeur de chacune de ces minorités qui fait progresser et enrichir l'humanité. Parce que tout réfugié, s'il est accueilli avec respect, eh bien, représente aussi un espoir pour la société dans laquelle il fera place. Et parce que défendre les droits humains, c'est agir résolument en faveur des plus faibles et des plus vulnérables. Et aujourd'hui, nous sommes toutes et tous concernés par la défense des droits humains sur chaque continent, dans chaque pays et dans chaque ville. Et la ville de Genève porte depuis bien longtemps en elle cet idéal commun de la défense des droits humains. Et dans cet esprit, elle doit rester ce lieu où se côtoient les peuples du monde entier et où se discutent et se règlent les grands problèmes de notre planète. Il faut le dire, dans un monde qui ne se porte pas bien et où un peu partout l'instabilité politique, les mouvements migratoires, les guerres et les conflits armés, les inégalités sociales et économiques, les discriminations ne font que croître, eh bien, il faut que la communauté internationale se mobilise, continue de se mobiliser, qu'elle se donne les moyens de défendre partout les droits humains avec la plus grande force et la plus grande fermeté. Je vous remercie beaucoup pour votre attention. Je vous souhaite une très belle cérémonie et encore un grand bravo à tous les lauréats ce soir.
Keeping up with the spirit of thanking our cooperation between the City of Geneva, the Office of the High Commission of Human Rights, and the United Nations Commission for Refugees, I would really like now to invite the Office of the Human Rights Commission for Human Rights, the thematic engagement, special procedures, rule of law and rights to development Division Director. I wish I could. Thank you.
I challenge people with the title of our office and my title, but I'm just so pleased to be able to join you this evening on behalf of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. We don't often get moments to celebrate in the Human Rights Office, unfortunately, but we need more of them. And so we do want to thank Mayor, the City of Geneva for investing in this project and for being with us tonight. And of course, our partners, UNHCR, for joining us in this important initiative. We have heard, as the mayor said, we live in a very difficult time. Let's be frank. It's a moment of turmoil. I have colleagues who have already made their way to the COP27 climate meetings in Sharm el-Sheikh, where everyone will gather to look at the climate crisis and what can be done about it. But we know that there's turmoil, there's crisis, there's war, there's growing inequality. And in the face of all that, we have art, we have hope, we have inspiration, and we have a call to act. And that is what I find so amazing about this project and the art that's been brought to us today, and that we'll hear more about. The idea that we can, through art, tell stories, engage with people, and not only engage with them, but inspire them. And ultimately, we need to inspire people if we're going to build the better world that we need. And that applies to all of the human rights issues we work on, but particularly, of course, to issues around discrimination and minorities and the issue of statelessness. These are causes where I think those of us that work on them have a sense that if other people could see it the way we see it, they would all be in this room. They would all be cheering. They would be all opening their checkbooks. They would be all joining with us to solve these problems, to address these human stories. But yet somehow we're not communicating. We're not able to convey why this is a cause, why these are issues that we all ought to work to address. And to me, that is the most important thing about this project, is I found it so inspiring. One of our colleagues was saying how we try to write these things down and our writing just doesn't capture the reality. But I do think the art that we've seen is a way to reach people in their hearts and ultimately to help us to make the change that we all need to see. So thank you all for being part of that first group, the people that are already obviously already inspired and already ready to act. And we really look forward to joining with you to be able to do more. As has been said, we're so happy that it's an important anniversary, the 30th of the Minority Declaration and the 8th of the IBelong Campaign. These are efforts that deserve commemoration, but they deserve more. They deserve the action that goes behind them, that they're intended to engage us and to bring more action forward on these important issues. And so we're very much looking forward to putting this artwork out, to celebrating those who have brought it to us, and to connecting with more people who can help us address the issues that are faced by the minority stateless. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to continue along the same path, I would really like to invite the Assistant with the High Commission for Protection, Gillian Higgs, to talk a little bit about the 8th anniversary and also to continue on the anniversary of the Minority Declaration. Please tell us more about the IBelong campaign. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to you on this very, very important subject of statelessness. And I think Peggy has really set the tone. But I really wanted, in particular, to thank the mayor of the city of Geneva to allow us to use this quite remarkable and beautiful palais that I have walked past for the last 3 years I've been in Geneva, but never had an opportunity to come inside. But it's very generous and a perfect place, I think, for us to gather. I have had the opportunity to look at the catalogue, and I've been able to see some of the art this evening. And I think, as Peggy has really outlined, there's no better way, I can't think of a better way, to give a clearer understanding of the plight of people who are stateless than through the arts. And so it's wonderful to have you here to give us some sense of why the arts are so critical. I have looked at some of the pictures, and they're very moving. The concept of the shadow people described in a black soot in the painting is quite remarkable. Another, the weight of paper. I'm a lawyer and I love paper and I love laws, but nonetheless, the weight of paper can really just mean that people who do not have the documentation, who are stateless, can actually be frozen in their lives. They cannot move in any direction. So I strongly commend the work that's been done, and thank you, Madam, for the work that's gone into choosing from what I gather is a very large number of applicants. Can I thank also, of course, the government representatives, the fellow UN agencies, and of course members of society, of civil society here in Geneva who are supporting this. Well, we are, of course, of achieving it, and why would we take on such an extraordinary challenge? But the more I thought about it, the more I looked at the work that was being done collaboratively across the whole of the UN system, and with civil society. I realized that it's a challenge we should all take on because it's so doable. We can really do this. We can give people the right to nationality, to citizenship, and to the documents that they need. We won't reach that objective. We won't end statelessness by 2024. But I can honestly say that we've made some progress. And I think that progress is gathering with momentum. And just to give you a few examples, we've had recently, over the last few years, nationality to 400,000 people in 27 countries. And we've seen 30 accessions to the relevant two statelessness conventions. We've also seen gender discrimination removed from the nationality laws of a number of countries, but I'd like to mention, if I may, Sierra Leone, Madagascar, and Liberia. And as many of you will know, one of the cultural blockages on statelessness, or that create statelessness, is that many women in many countries are not able to pass their nationality to their children. And that creates a new generation. Every year, there are more children created in a way that they cannot have nationality. But of course, in an environment, as the mayor has said, of deep instability and chaos, really, in many respects in the world, we now have conflicts, which mean that access to birth registration is even less likely than it is in times of calmness. And every new conflict, every new emergency, and we have 39 that we are now working on at the UN Refugee Agency. Every time we see that, we see more children at risk of statelessness. One of the advantages of the IBelong campaign has been that we've been working so well with our partners, with other UN agencies, and of course with the the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, and it's great to be here with Peggy. But the connection between the Office for Human Rights and our work is that the root cause of statelessness lies in a breach of human rights, typically in discrimination, in poverty, in conflict, but a failure to understand the right of everyone to nationality. So the aim of this event and of the work of the artists is to raise that level of visibility and awareness that we're all anxious to achieve. So I congratulate the winners, though they have yet to be announced. We'll know very shortly. But I did want to mention just briefly what the implications of statelessness are. I think it's rather telling that one of the winners that you're going to hear about tonight was not able to come because he doesn't have the legal documentation to allow him to get on a plane and join us. And that's a pretty shocking example. But also, if I can mention one, I was in Mozambique not long ago, where, as you may know, there's a great civil strife in Cabo Delgado, nearly 1 million people now displaced. And I met some young people in a small community where they're being cared for, but they cannot risk getting onto public transport because if they do, they'll be arrested because they don't have the documentation. They left their villages, they were burned, people were massacred, raped, they managed to escape, but of course they don't have, either never had documentation or don't have it. And so the risks of statelessness or risk of those without documentation are very serious indeed. Also, of course, the right to nationality is the gateway to all the other rights. The right to have access to education, to healthcare, to have access to work. So when we talk about statelessness and lack of documentation, we're actually talking about a denial of access to so many other rights. So it's with very much gratitude that on behalf of the High Commissioner for Refugees, that I thank you all for coming, for artists in particular, for using their great skills of giving us that visual representation of the fragmentation, of the loneliness and the despair of those who do not have nationality. So I do hope the discussions this evening and the event will ensure that we all understand that we need to belong. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. And I will go on now to say, we have a short video which we're going to play and watch, and it's a video that was recorded specifically for today. It hasn't been seen before. It's a video that was recorded by the United Nations High Commission for Refugee Goodwill Ambassador, Kate Blanchett, and she calls upon everybody to step up their efforts in these 2 final years of the IBelong campaign. Like I said, this video was recorded especially for today, and it's a powerful call, actually, not just to everybody, but also to the states who have the power and to the other stakeholders to step up their efforts to address statelessness. And in these final years, we have 2 years, but we can do a lot in 2 days and in 2 years. So let's look at this video from Kate Blanchett, IBelong Campaign.
As an actor, my job requires me to inhabit the lives of others, musicians, teachers, hairdressers, architects, journalists, queens and elves, and it is a pleasure and a joy to place myself in the shoes of others. But to walk in the shoes of a stateless person would undoubtedly be a joyless and painful experience. Without the nationality of any country, the stateless people I have met have survived some of the harshest deprivations imaginable. No right to an education, no healthcare, no recourse to the justice system, and no recognition of their existence as a human being. Inconceivably, in 2022, millions of people remain stateless all around the world. In 2019, I witnessed 66 states make more than 250 pledges to take concrete action on statelessness, an unprecedented demonstration of a political will critical to addressing this problem. Now, as we enter the final years of the IBelong campaign to end statelessness once and for all, the time has come for all of these states to make good on the promises they made in 2019. Discriminatory laws and practices leading to statelessness must be changed. No child should be born stateless. Stateless people must enjoy their human rights and have a clear pathway to a nationality. For statelessness to end, we all need to act. Together, we can eradicate the scourge of statelessness so that millions of stateless women, men, girls and boys can finally say, I belong.
That was a very powerful message from the Goodwill Ambassador, Kate Blanchett. And now we come to the main part of this whole ceremony. I would like to invite the director of the Freemuse, Xavier Pedersen, and I did warn him that I would butcher his name. So he's going to tell us who the first winner of this category is. Thank you.
Dear all, dear partners, dear mayor, and especially their award laureates. We are very happy to be here with you tonight. I'm honored and pleased to announce this evening's first award winner. His name is Jean-Philippe Mousseau. Jean-Paul Mousseau is a plastic and recycling artist who belongs to Haitian minority in the Dominican Republic. His artwork is extremely diverse: paintings, sculptures, engraved metal objects, and masks. Yet all of his artworks have in common the willingness to explore the complex forms of discrimination facing Haitian communities and their descendants born in the Dominican Republic. And they also reflect the bravery of a committed artist who seeks to shed light on contemporary issues, including statelessness, by combining recycled materials with natural elements, such as jagua, palm, gourds, or seeds that are of particular importance to Haitian identity. The judges panel was particularly moved by the powerful political message of his artwork. In particular, the mask that Jean-Philippe creates unveiled the challenge of statelessness. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Jean-Philippe created a mask called Los Olvidados del COVID, the forgotten by COVID, that captured the new exclusion of stateless persons through a mask and refers to the lack of health and socioeconomic support for stateless people. I am deeply moved by his artwork, and specifically the forgotten by COVID and the immigrant make a strong impression on me. I'm also very fascinated by his creative use of different forms of expression and the use of many different materials in his work. I strongly encourage everyone in the room to take a walk and study the wonderful works and art on display out there. I'm now happy to invite Jean-Philippe to the floor. Dear Jean-Philippe, please feel free to share a statement.
Bonsoir. Je reçois ce prix au nom de celle qui m'a mis au monde, Marie-Claire Frédéric. Au nom de ma mère spirituelle, celle qui m'a guidé vers là, dans mon jeune âge. Marie-Solange Séléné, je m'excuse, je suis très émotif quand je parle de l'art. Avec la sensibilité artistique que j'ai, je pense à tous mes frères haïtiens et haïtiennes qui crèvent en Haïti à cause d'une mauvaise gestion de nos politiciens. Au nom de ma chère Yannick, qui avait payé mes études pour qu'aujourd'hui je sois devant vous. À Maggie Simon, une amie très chère, celle qui m'avait acheté mon premier chevalet, je ne peux pas l'oublier. Et à Brigitte Wooding, qui partage ma vie depuis 10 ans et qui m'avait incité à partager dans ce concours. Et pour être franc et honnête, c'est mon 3e prix. J'avais gagné un prix en 2015 comme meilleur artiste haïtien de la diaspora haïtienne. En 2017, j'ai gagné en Angleterre avec un sexe. Et aujourd'hui, je suis là devant vous. C'est plus que merveilleux, parce que quand j'ai commencé, on n'y croyait pas. L'art est universel, mais l'inspiration reste et demeure personnelle. Quand cette dernière est bien ordonnée, ça donne naissance à une œuvre d'art. Ce prix ne fait qu'accroître ma croyance artistique et affermir ma sensibilité humaine. Je tiens à remercier le Haut Commissariat des Nations Unies aux droits humains et le Haut Commissariat des Nations Unies pour les réfugiés. Je ne me considère pas comme réfugié, mais la majorité de mes frères sont des réfugiés. D'avoir lancé ce concours et aux membres du jury d'avoir choisi mes pièces et m'ont permis d'être présent ce soir à cette grande fête culturelle. Je ne peux pas oublier Freemuse. Surtout, je viens de donner une entrevue. Je ne sais pas comment ça s'est passé parce que j'étais sur le coup de l'émotion. Et Minority Rights Group, à toutes celles et tous ceux qui ont collaboré avec cette soirée, pour que cette soirée soit une réussite, à M. Claude Kang, M. Sam Monsoleil, Mme Laura Caillé, je vous dis merci. Mes chers collègues, compliments. On a fait un grand effort et on a gagné. Au plaisir de partager avec vous cet instant si important dans notre lutte pour la survivance de l'art et appuyer ce mouvement pour les plus faibles et les plus démunis à travers le monde. Merci.
Yeah. Now I would like to invite Anna Albert, the Media Programs Coordinator for Minority Rights Group International, to announce the second winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I had a pleasure to meet tonight this lady, and I would like to read you a few sentences about her. Zahra Hassan Marwan, who self-identifies as a member of the I Am minority of Kuwait, is a drawer and author who lives in New Mexico, United States. Born to a Kuwaiti mother and a stateless father, she was herself stateless for a large part of her life, as under Kuwaiti laws, citizenship is passed down through the father's side. Zahra works as a traditional artist, using watercolors and ink to explore complex themes such as statelessness, feelings of belonging, homesickness, the pride in one's cultural and linguistic identity, and the reclaiming of one's roots. The judges' panel was particularly moved by the children's book she wrote, illustrated and published in 2022, entitled Where Butterflies Fill the Sky, a story of immigration, family, and finding home. The book tells her personal story of statelessness in a remarkably beautiful, poetic manner. The book offers a powerful account of how statelessness affects the emotional, family, cultural, and linguistic ties that bind communities together, but also how it impacts the feeling of belonging to a place, community, and the country. Because it can be read by children who have gone through similar experiences and may be able to identify themselves, the book is an incredibly moving support, help for other kids better understand their own personal and family stories. A minority rights group that I'm representing here now works with ethnic, religious, and linguistic minorities all over the world. We don't want to be the megaphone of the minorities. We see ourselves more as a sound engineers trying to help to adjust the sound system of this world. Zahra, we will be very honored to multiply your voice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your work. You will all have an opportunity to see picture by picture the book of Zahra. Thank you so much.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Everybody speak English? I wrote down what to say because usually I would just end up talking about my aunt fighting with her parents or this water pipe piece every night at 10 p.m. So I saw the mayor wrote something too, so maybe it's fine. Okay. I appreciate you taking the time to listen and look at my work, for inviting me to your beautiful fairy tale-like city. I come to you here from Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the southwest of the United States. Recently, I told a stranger there that I was from Kuwait, and he said, like overseas? And I said, yeah, do I look Kuwaiti? He laughs and he said, I don't know. And then he offered me one of his apples. And that's the thing. Well, my Chicano and Indigenous and other friends in New Mexico tell me things like, you're one of us, or this is your home too, fool. I don't understand why things have to be this way. Why do I enter Kuwait to visit my mom as a tourist? Why is my 38-year-old cousin who's still stateless crying over his lunch at these suffocating policies? And if we listen to the argument that we should return to our fathers' countries of origin with moms who are citizens 5 generations later, I wonder, what business do we have going back to a country our great-great-grandparents left more than 120 years ago? I don't know. My parents didn't raise us feeling neither inferior nor victimized. New Mexican educators taught me to be proud of my language and heritage, probably from their own recent history of cultural and linguistic oppression. I grew up learning that speaking about statelessness is shameful and taboo. Activists are arrested, citizens have their citizenship rights stripped. And although I miss my father very much, if he was alive, I think he'd be so mad that I am talking about this. So when people ask me things like, would you like to live in Kuwait again? I don't know how to tell them that I can't, that I'd have to find a way as a foreigner, that if I do, the stigma of having been formerly stateless via the United States will forever persist. 3 of my grandparents were Kuwaiti citizens, only one wasn't. My father was born in 1948 and was Kuwaiti in speech, dress, and culture. He was born in the same community and neighborhood as my mom. He applied to leave the United States 14 years before I was born. We left when I was 7. I became a citizen at 15. And 2 years later, they returned to Kuwait when I finished high school, because that was the plan, that we would all return. My father was buried in Kuwait in 2016 in the Shia cemetery, where the rest of our family is buried. But this was also a point of contingency. 2 years after his burial, there was a warrant for his arrest, since he didn't renew his foreigner's visa. From the grave, which nearly broke my mom. And what little trust I have in bureaucracies continues to dwindle and dwindle. I often wonder if my feelings for home or displacement are sincere. Yet each time I leave Kuwait, my heart breaks into a million pieces as I relive the injustice in waves again and again and again. I'm constantly surprised where my eccentric and delicate watercolors are taking me. I'm so happy and proud of this award, and will be even happier when the rest of my family receives their rights, that they receive the basic human rights within our lifetime. Thank you.
I'm glad some of you actually get to experience how emotional, beautiful art can be through the artists who are here today. I'm going to announce the third winner. His name is Abdul. Sometimes people who are stateless cannot use more than one name and cannot use their own names because of the state of being stateless, because it's dangerous, because they cannot afford to risk their lives by actually revealing their names. We're going to watch a short piece of some of his artwork because Abdul is actually in, he's a Rohingya photographer. So we are going to watch a film to show part of his work and part of where he's been. And after that, I will introduce you to him. And he is the artist who couldn't join us here physically because he doesn't have the papers. So he will be joining us online.
Hi, I am Abdullah, a Rohingya refugee surviving in the world's largest refugee camp in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh, after being forcibly displaced from Myanmar. Professionally, I am a photographer, videographer, and poet. As a youth, what I am doing in the camp is presenting the voice of my community and documenting the life of Rohingya people in the camp. And I also exist the NGO Burma Task Force. Today, I am very honored to be part of this minority art contest on statelessness. For that, I would like to thank UN, UNHCR, and OHCR for organizing this art contest. Besides, I'd like to thank Laura here, Claude Can, and Sam Mosalai for helping me to be able to participate virtually in this ceremony. However, I would like to thank also to my colleague Adam Carroll who suggested me to apply for this award. However, I am really sad that I was not able to participate and receive this award in person. Although I have received the invitation, I have received this invitation, but I am not being allowed to travel by local authorities because I am being identified as stateless. Therefore, I have realized again how difficult it is to survive with the level stateless, as it snatches all sort of opportunity from us and make our life even worse. For how many years? However, I am very delighted to receive this award, and it is dedicated to entire my Rohingya community. So on this auspicious day, I would like to say that we stateless refugees did not come from another planet. We are not alien. We must be accepted by a state if we truly belong to this world. Although I was driven out from my country, I was born in Myanmar. I belong to Myanmar, and that is my country. I hope to return someday. So don't only call me stateless. Being a non-person is like in prison. Please end this stateless crisis.
So that was the short video of Abdul. You could see where he lives. And like I said before, he is a Rohingya photographer and videographer. And he was born stateless in Myanmar and to stateless parents. After fleeing from Myanmar in 2017, Abdullah now lives in Kaptupalong refugee camp, one of the world's largest refugee camps in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh. He works with Rollywood. I know that sounds funny because we have Hollywood and we have Nollywood and now Rollywood, but it does exist. He works with Rollywood that is the Rohingya film team, making videos and taking photos about life in the camp and also promoting work of the youth in the camp who are interested in art, such as videography, photography, music, drawing, and poetry. The judges panel was particularly moved by Abdullah's photos that are extremely compelling and deeply touching. Abdullah uses a documentary approach to record a chronic of daily experiences, everyday struggles, and mostly intimate stories about the Rohingya children, the women, the men, the elders in the camp where he lives. His photos show the pain. His photos also show the bravery and the strength of being stateless and being a member of a minority. In his photos, one also sees the difficulties of the Rohingya communities. I was especially moved by his artwork because in every piece of artwork, you didn't have to speak his language. His art, like all the other artists, wow, actually, the language you needed. All you had to do was look into it and you could identify with the emotions, you could identify with the struggles, you could identify with what it would be like to be stateless. Yeah, Abdullah?
Hello, can you hear me?
Although you're not here to receive your prize, we would like to give you one of the statues and a certificate. And thank you very, very, very much for being part of the artists who took part in the International Art Contest for Minorities on the theme of statelessness.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity to speak in front of you all and in front of the world. So, well, hope you all listen me and now about a little bit about me through my video, which recently has played. So, good evening, all the people who are watching me today. I am very honored to be a part of this wonderful campaign. I belong and statelessness, and I am really happy. I'm really glad to talk to you all, and I'm very grateful for that. First of all, I thanks to Bangladesh for I have been living. Thanks to Bangladesh government and its people to give shelter to more than 1 million Rohingya in the land of Bangladesh, while they are already, suffering and fighting with overpopulation crisis, and on in their place, we are also 1 million refugee and surviving since 5 years. When our government, when the military, was committing genocide on us in 2017. So secondly, I would like to thank all the organizer behind this initiative, behind this, campaign. So my special thanks to UNHCR in Bangladesh for, giving me all sort of support to join this ceremony today virtually, because I could not able to, come there and to see you all and to see and to receive the award and to see my achievement with my eyes, because of the my identity, because of lack of documentation. So it's feel me very, sad. It's make me feel very sad because today I really come to know who I am because of those restriction on me. So also I'd like to thank UNICEF in Bangladesh because they has been have been working for the refugee, for the Rohingya refugees since we took shelter in Bangladesh. Also, they are helping Rohingya youth in different fields to improve Rohingya youth, as it has organized a photo exhibition on Rohingya photographer, and all the Rohingya photographer got the opportunity to exhibit their photo in magazine because of the UNHCR. Today, on this event, I would like to express few words on behalf of my Rohingya community in front of you. As all you know, we Rohingya are the most persecuted minority in the world. Yeah, there is a reason why we are known as the most persecuted minority. We are known as mostly with the term refugee, stateless, and displaced person, because we the only ethnic group in this world which 90% of population are driven out from their own country and surviving different countries and surviving in different countries around the world as a refugee, a stateless, and displaced person. It's been, a long time. We are suffering this sort of difficulties in our life. Even I, I am the witness. I did not feel any, rights. I could not enjoy any rights since I born in my country. I could not able to attend my university because of, I was called as a illegal immigrant in my own country. Even I was become a stateless in my own country since I born. And so this is very hard to express my own story in front of you when I recall my past, my memories, my childhood. I did not have anything. I could not do anything as a human, as a human uh, who can who can prove themselves as a human, but we cannot do that because of the stateless person, because of the lack of human right. Today, I am here being voice of the entire community to share our history with the world. Imagine, imagine if a child is born being stateless and grown up inside the refugee camp, and there is no future for that child. Exactly that is happening with us in this world. Before I conclude my speech, I'd like just to say that the world, that if we deserve a better future, we must be returned to our home as soon as possible. As a photographer, as a videographer, as a poet, I will not stop sharing the story of my community to the world. As I breathe daily, I breathe every second. I will keep sharing the story of my people, my community to the world, because I want to remind all the people in the world that how we are surviving in the camp, being a stateless, being a refugee, being a displaced person. So thank you so much for listening to me today, and hope there will be more voices arise around the world for the Rohingya community.
Thank you, Abdullah. I will go on to announce the other 4 artists who have a honorary mention. I said we have 4 because there was so much work we couldn't choose from. And so I will, on the behalf of the judges panel, as their chair, I would like to read out what some of the judges wrote about the other artists. The first artist I would like to tell you about is called Bramley, Kachin painter, visual artist from northern Myanmar. His No Life series highlights how invisible statelessness makes individuals, especially by using shadowed figures, almost transparent-like human figures, place over images of ordinary life. And this he uses to depict their invisibility. The second artist is Nasser Moradi, an Afghan painter belonging to the Hazara ethnic community, who had to flee from his home in 2011 to escape conflict. Nasra's paintings reflect the deep and painful feelings that may be experienced by those who are disconnected from a part of their self, including stateless persons. The third artist is Marwa Rana, a painter born in Soviet Central Asia who became stateless after the collapse of the Soviet Union and now lives in the United States. Marwa depicts in her paintings the lived experiences of stateless minorities, including the difficult administrative processes they may have to go through. Marwa's artwork connects her deep emotions with the conviction that no human being should ever be reduced to his or her national status. Amin Tasha is the final artist who is receiving an honorary mention, a painter, a visual artist belonging also again to the Hazara minority from Afghanistan, and who has had to flee as well to Indonesia due to intimidation which he faced. The judges panel was struck by the magnificence and technical complexity, of Amin's pieces of art as they build a poetic bridge between the past, the present, through the use of traditional techniques, including miniatures. Those were our artists for the International Art Contest for minority artists based on statelessness. Now, I would like to introduce you to a lighter part of our evening, some entertainment with a beautiful audio player, and her name is Yusra Dabi. She's born in a family of musicians. Yusra is an artist of great creativity and internationally renowned. She's an expert in the Oriental art. Are you going to say the music yourself? Okay, she's an expert in the Oriental art. Please do come up. And Yusra has taught the Urdu and the techniques of Oriental singing at the National Conservatory of Tunis, of which she's the director, before she settled in Switzerland. I don't want to ask you why. And where she continues her career as a solo musician and actually continues teaching. So if any of you would like to learn how to play her instrument and sing like her, she's here all night. Listen to her. Thank you.
Bonsoir. Je suis très heureuse d'être parmi vous pour célébrer. Je pense qu'ils m'entendent, non? Ah oui, excusez-moi. Alors bonsoir, je suis très heureuse d'être parmi vous pour célébrer cet événement dans ce magnifique palais qui nous laisse voyager. Félicitations à tous les lauréats et je vous invite à voyager avec moi dans l'art du maqam. pour préciser que la musique orientale, elle se base essentiellement sur l'improvisation. Je passe. le monde de l'urgence. Notre champ mental, effectivement, la langue va bien.
Aman, aman, aman,
Thank you so much, Yosta. And thank you also for the last number. We shared a joke when she came in earlier on today, because I told her, normally when I am invited to host any festival or any event, the first question I ask is there going to be food and is there going to be music? Because I come from a tribe where we are known to dance when a child is given birth to dance during weddings, to dance during funerals, to dance just for every expression. It's a way we express ourselves. So I told her I had put on my dancing shoes, and when I said I was going to dance to her music, she gave me a slightly sly smile. So I'm glad you have taken us through the whole emotion, starting off slowly and building the momentum to a part where we could actually dance the last song. Now I would like to invite you actually to join the artists who are here at the reception and enjoy our reception. And I also wanted to tell you, right here, we're showing most of the art, and we have a QR code which you can actually use if you scan it, so that you can see our online catalog, which was a last-minute addition, but really worth it. So please do that as well, and enjoy mixing and mingling and the art. Please.